Morning, everyone. If you guys can hear me, just do me a favor, raise your hand if you can hear my voice right now. Am I good in the back? Awesome. Thank you, guys. It's so good to see so many familiar faces, a lot of new faces as well. I look forward to this day all year. And before I get started with anything else, I need to thank some of the people that have helped make this day possible. First, to the person who I love the most and the person who loves public attention. It's tradition at this point for me to embarrass my wife, so come on up here, Michaela. Without her patience, support, encouragement, and partnership, none of this would be possible, and that's the truth. She likes to exist behind the scenes, and she deserves this recognition, so let's give her an enormous round of applause. We've hit her with confetti cannons up here for the past few years, and I promise we won't do that again. You can sit down. One more round of applause for Michaela. I could not do it. All right, that worked perfectly. Thank you to our photographers, Joe Rinaldi, my dad. Where are you? Oh, right here. Oliver Meredith in the back. And Evelyn Barsky also in the back. As well as our videographers, James Boria and Chris Gabayan. If you see any of these guys today, just smile. They'll make you look great, I promise. Thank you to Evolve Fitness for letting us use this beautiful space. In true fashion of how we operate, let's commit to leaving it better than we found it, and let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you to our two main event sponsors, Alpha Fit Club Philadelphia and Legacy of Hope. We can clap it up for both of them. You'll learn more about Alpha Fit Club when we get to the fitness portion of the event, and you'll learn more about Legacy of Hope after the team building activities. For now, just know that they both played a big role in making today special. Last but not least, thank you to everyone else who goes above and beyond in supporting what we do. There are so many moving pieces that go into a day like this, from the people who helped us pack the U-Haul last night, to the people who picked up the coffee, brought the ice, came early to set up. There are a lot of unseen heroes behind the scenes. You guys know who you are, and I appreciate you so much. So let's clap it up for that group. It's hard to believe that it's been almost 5 years since Project Endure was born. That feels important to mention, not because of the number, but because of what it represents. It represents a dream that is materialized through imperfect action, a whole lot of work, and most of all, because of good people who believe in what this stands for, you. This wouldn't exist without each of you, the people who want more for themselves and for those around them. Thank you for being here, for what will be a memorable and unique experience. I appreciate you more than you know, so let's give yourselves a big round of applause. For those of you that have been here before, you know what we're all about. For those that are new and still attempting to process who we are and what this is, I want to be clear about our singular mission. Project Endure exists to help others find strength in struggle. Our motto is do hard things because growth is uncomfortable and what we want is on the other side of hard. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about that phrase. You each have journals that I hope you'll use throughout the event. So let's start here, take out those pens and write this down. What you want is on the other side of hard. What you want is on the other side of hard. I believe that with more conviction than ever. And standing here, it means something much different than when this all started. And that's because I've come to understand that hard doesn't always mean dramatic. It's not always a big race, a professional leap, or a massive transformation. In fact, most of the time, hard is quiet. Hard is sharing that thing you've been avoiding, choosing to start before you feel ready, staying when it would be easier to leave, leaving when it would be easier to stay, being honest when no one would know if you weren't, and asking for help, even if it makes you feel weak. And those small moments, those small choices, they compound. So let me ask you a question, and again, I'd love for you to write this down. What are the hard things that you need to embrace? What are the hard things that you need to embrace? While you sit with that question, and we'll come back to it here in a few minutes, but while you sit with it, I want to take you back to 2008, where the seeds of this were planted. 14-year-old Joe had just begun high school and started a club called Life's Not Fair. The branding wasn't the best. It sounded like we were complaining. But beneath the surface, the idea was that while life's not fair, we should reframe our perspective and refocus our effort on helping those who had it worse. It was all about helping others who were struggling and being there when times were hard. Quick sidestep. This was the branding. And this is one of my most prized possessions. In part because of what it represents, and in part because I think my mom threw out or donated the other 300 that were in the attic. She hates clutter. She's in the back. We can clap it up for my mom. Fast forward 18 years, and right now, Project Endure stands for the same things. This is all about finding strength in struggle, embracing the truth that we are so much stronger together, and understanding that no matter what we do, life is going to be hard. So we might as well choose the hard that suits us best. For right now, I want us to all hone in on a specific kind of hard. It's a kind of hard that applies to everyone here, and that is living in alignment with what we say we want. Because here's the truth. On some level, we might not know the specifics, but we all have an idea of the direction we want to go. And yet, very few people stay the course long enough to see that through. Not because they're weak, not because they're incapable, but because hard asks something of us before it gives anything back. Hard asks for effort without guarantees. Courage before confidence. Action before clarity. Risk before reward. Patience before progress. Sacrifice before success. And discomfort before growth. And that's why most people stop. Here's what I've come to learn through the coaching work that we do, the podcast that we host, the personal experiences that I've lived, and most of all, through the stories that each of you bring here today. Hard is the price of admission, not the punishment. Hard is the price of admission, not the punishment. Everything worthwhile is uphill. What you want is on the other side of hard. The question has never been if that's true. The question is whether you're willing to keep choosing it. In the big moments, in the small moments, and when no one is watching. This event, at its core, is about exploring what that means to you. While having fun, doing hard things, and meeting some of the best people that this world has to offer, and I mean that. Today isn't about proving anything, and the goal isn't to leave here a brand new person. The goal is to leave here more honest. Honest about what you want, honest about what it requires, and honest about the next small, hard step you probably already know you need to take. I like to speak before we get started with the festivities because it gives me a chance to remind you what this is all about and to encourage you to take full advantage of what's to come. We put so much effort into making this special, from the space to the food, the fitness to the speakers, the shirts to the activities. We even have porta potties this year, and that was the hardest part to pull off. All of that is just a reason to get you here. This is just a container. The magic of this gathering is the people in this room. You are always one person, one conversation, and one experience away from a completely different life. So go start that conversation today. Make that new friend. Share that thing you've been holding inside and step outside of what's comfortable at every twist and every turn. Don't forget that hard things can be fun things, and it feels good to pursue growth. So I hope you have a blast. One sec. For those of you who know me, before I finish, you might be surprised that there haven't been any quotes yet. And you won't be surprised that for the 5th year in a row, I'll end with the same quote from Alexis Carrel, who said, "Man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor." It's almost time to do hard things. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, before we get to what's next, I want everybody to take some time to reflect on that question I asked. What are the hard things that you need to embrace? Look inside, spend some time with yourself, write down whatever comes to mind, and we'll circle back to that later today. That was a great toss. Thank you.